And now, his view, an editorial opinion by Bill Martin.
To follow social media these days, you might get the impression that the days of news coverage may be over. The media, they say, are no longer covering news events, and that is a good thing. Really? A good thing? You honestly don't want to know what is happening around you? You don't want to know what happened or who was hurt in that explosion? You really don't want to know the true details of the car crash where 2 children died? And that fire down the street, you're really going to turn the other way and not care about what happened? I don't think so. I've been in the news gathering business most of my life, and the one thing I've learned is that we humans have an insatiable curiosity. Think about it. When we meet on the street, the first thing out of our mouths is usually a question, something like, "What's new?" or "What's happening?" or maybe even something folksy like, "How's she going?" Like it or not, we are curious about the happenings around us. There's even a certain need to know. It's a kind of self-protection mechanism. Forewarned is forearmed. There's no question that we live in deeply troubled times with wars and threats of wars. There is no question that we have government leaders who live by their own rules, some who break all the rules just to stay in power and keep people under their thumb. So don't tell me that you don't care about truth around you. The sad fact is, there are a lot of people who don't want you to know the truth. People like Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-il come to mind, and other despots who hold power by force. Then there's others like Donald Trump, Justin Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, who also want power, but must work within guidelines and safeguards against abuse of that power. And some, of course, like Donald Trump, have systematically attacked the news gatherers and seems to have succeeded in convincing many people that all news is fake news, especially if it's not news that you like. Some of the fault belongs with media companies themselves that are the ones not true news gatherers. I'm thinking like the so-called tabloid reporters. They're not reporters at all. They're sensationalists. Or how about the trash reporters, those who dish the gossip on Hollywood stars or sports heroes, or that billionaire who gets his advice from a tiny extraterrestrial that he keeps in the closet? That's not news. That's gossip of the worst order. And sorry to say, a lot of the blame rests with you. None of these tabloid rags, their television spin-offs, nor their billionaire owners like Rupert Murdoch would even exist if you didn't buy what they were selling. No, we humans have insatiable curiosity, and our demand goes way beyond the truth because we really enjoy the gossip. The more titillating, the more outrageous, the more we like it. For that is the stuff we communicate. That is the stuff we spread around. That is what we gossip. And sadly, the news media has its own problems. The newspaper industry has worked for centuries with a business model that is no longer sustainable. Television's glory days are over, replaced by video. You might think that's odd because television is video. But I'm talking about News at 6 or the National at 11. They're now out of date. By the time the newscast goes on the air, something like it has already been seen by millions on the internet. And I say something like it because it's not bothered by the truth or the parameters of good taste. And it doesn't matter if that video is real or just covers the event in a clear, understandable, or truthful way because we want that excitement. We're not looking for facts. We want excitement. And people get sucked in all the time. One of the most common ways that fakers try to convince you is by saying, Well, this is what the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. And another surefire sign of a piece of crap is the suggestion that you need to see this right now, or you need to buy this right now, before big pharma or big government or some other big force will take down the video. And yet that phony sales pitch appears all over the internet, unfettered by any stabilizing force. Yes, the news business is facing a crisis that will ultimately become yours when the reporters are gone. Because that's when the con men, the crooks, and the phony leaders will have free rein. That's when you will say, "Why didn't you tell me?" Well, I just did. At least, that's my view. I'm Bill Martin.
You've been listening to His View by Bill Martin. Listen every weekday at noon, 6 p.m., and midnight, right here on Radio from Hope Center.